You're staring again, Evan. People are gonna start believing the rumors. Liam said it with a grin that could melt steel, or maybe just my last line of defense. I looked away, pretending to scroll through emails that didn't exist, but it was too late. The smirk in his voice told me he'd seen everything. And maybe that was the problem, he saw too much. I never asked for this closeness. Never asked for someone who'd pull up a chair next to mine every lunch break, who'd text me memes at midnight, who'd make the office gossip mill spin so hard that now everyone thought we were dating. The worst part? I wasn't even sure they were wrong. We worked at Fletcher & Marks, a marketing firm that sold dreams to people who couldn't afford them. The office was a glass cage full of ambition, secrets, and caffeine, and Liam had somehow become the one person who made it bearable. It started simple. He asked to borrow my stapler, then my lunch spot. Then, without permission, he borrowed space inside my life. He was everything I wasn't: loud, spontaneous, reckless in the best way. I was rules and schedules. He was chaos wrapped in laughter. We were oil and water that somehow made the perfect blend. And now, the office had turned our quiet friendship into something else, into a story they wanted to watch unfold. That Monday, when I walked into the break room, 2 coworkers stopped talking mid-sentence. "Oh, speak of the devil," one of them muttered, nudging the other with a knowing smile. Liam was already there, unpacking 2 containers of food, like always, one for him, one for me. "Morning, babe," he teased, loud enough for half the floor to hear. I glared. "Don't call me that." "But everyone already thinks we're together," he said, eyes glinting with mischief. "Might as well give them a show." I wanted to say something sharp, but the truth was I liked the way it sounded. Babe. The word hung in the air, a forbidden thing, dangerous and tempting. We sat down, shoulder to shoulder, the air humming between us. I tried to focus on my salad, but every time his arm brushed mine, my brain short-circuited. "Evan, you okay?" he asked softly. "You've been distant lately." "Just busy," I lied. He leaned back, studying me like he always did, like I was a puzzle he couldn't wait to solve. "You know," he said, "you don't have to push me away every time someone looks at us." "I'm not." "Yes, you are," he sighed, running a hand through his hair. "You're so afraid of what people think that you forget how to feel." The words hit harder than I wanted them to, because he was right. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about the look in his eyes, not the playful spark I was used to, but something deeper, quieter. A question I didn't know how to answer. I'd spent years building walls, pretending they made me safe. Pretending that the version of myself the world saw was enough. But Liam, he saw past all of it. And that terrified me. The next day I decided to pull away. No more shared lunches. No late-night messages. No glances that lingered too long. It was the only way to stop the whispers. But the office didn't care about my decisions. Rumors have a life of their own. By Friday, someone had pinned a note to the break room board. "Office couple of the month. Evan and Liam Redhart." Liam thought it was hilarious. I didn't. "Relax, it's just a joke," he said, laughing. "It's not funny." "Then what do you want me to do? Pretend you don't exist?" "Yes," I said, sharper than I meant to. "Maybe that's best." The look that crossed his face, confusion first, then hurt, stayed with me long after he left the room. The silence between us stretched for days. The office felt colder, emptier. I didn't realize how much of my routine had wrapped itself around him until he wasn't there. Lunches alone. Coffee breaks that tasted bitter. It should have been easier this way. It wasn't. Then one night, as I was leaving late, I found him sitting on the office rooftop, the city lights painting his face gold. "I figured you'd come up here," he said without looking at me. "You always hide when you're thinking too much." "I'm not hiding," he smiled faintly. "Sure you're not." For a while, neither of us said anything. The city below buzzed with 1,000 lives, none of them ours. Finally, he spoke again. "Do you really care that much about what they think?" "It's not just them," I said quietly. "It's everything. The firm, my family, the world. You know how it is." He nodded slowly. "Yeah, I do. But I stopped caring when I met you." That caught me off guard. What? You made me want to be seen, even if it means people talk. Even if they don't understand. He turned to me, eyes fierce and raw. I don't care if they think we're together. I care that we're not. And just like that, the wall I'd built cracked wide open. The silence between us was so thick it felt alive. The city hummed below, sirens and laughter floating up through the cold night air. I could see my reflection in the glass railing, pale, tired, scared. And next to me, Liam's reflection, steady, warm, waiting. I took a shaky breath. You don't know what you're saying. Yes, I do, he said. I've known for months. Then you know this, I gestured, between us, is impossible. Impossible, he echoed softly. Or terrifying? I didn't answer, because it was both. 4 years I'd built my life on invisible rules. Keep your head down. Don't draw attention. Be safe. Don't give them a reason to look too closely. And yet here was this man who made me want to throw every rule into the wind. Liam, I whispered. You deserve someone brave enough to stand next to you. I don't want brave, he said. I want you, even if you're scared. Something in me broke. The part that had always chosen fear over feeling, silence over truth. The rooftop light flickered, painting us both in gold for a fleeting second, just long enough for me to see what it would feel like to stop pretending. So I did the one thing I swore I wouldn't. I reached for his hand. He froze, surprised. His skin was warm, steady, real. For the first time, I didn't care who saw. For the first time, I let myself feel. He exhaled softly, a half laugh escaping his lips. Took you long enough. The next morning, the office was a battlefield of whispers. Apparently, someone had seen us leaving together. By noon, the story had mutated into something wild: rooftop kisses, confessions, secret dates. I almost laughed at the absurdity, except this time, it wasn't so far from the truth. Liam, of course, handled it with his usual grace, which meant leaning into it entirely. He walked into the office holding 2 coffees and set one in front of me. "Morning, sweetheart," he said loud enough for everyone to hear. Half the team froze mid-typing. I wanted to kill him, and maybe kiss him right after. "You're enjoying this way too much," I hissed under my breath. "Maybe," he said, smirking. "Or maybe I'm just done pretending we're not something." Before I could respond, our manager, Denise, walked in, tall, sharp, intimidating as ever. "Evan, Liam, my office. Now." Every head turned. Liam shot me a look that said, "Relax," but my heart was pounding so loud it drowned out everything else. Denise's office was all glass and silence. She closed the door, folded her arms, and said, "So, the rumors." I felt the blood drain from my face. "They're just that, rumors." She raised an eyebrow. "Are they?" Liam spoke before I could. "Does it matter?" Denise's expression didn't change, but something flickered in her eyes: surprise, maybe respect. "You're both adults," she said finally. "As long as it doesn't interfere with your work, I don't care who you share lunch with, or secrets, or anything else." Then she looked directly at me. "But Evan, if you're worried about perception, don't be. The world's changing faster than you think." It was the kindest thing she'd ever said to me. And it was the first time I realized I'd been fighting ghost fears that belonged to an older version of the world. Not this one. When we left her office, Liam nudged my arm. "Told you it'd be fine. Don't," I warned, but there was no heat behind it. He grinned. "You like me?" "Unfortunately," I said. "Yes." He laughed, the sound echoing through the hallway like sunlight. That's all I needed to hear. That weekend, he dragged me out of my apartment to the farmer's market downtown. He said we needed fresh air. I said we needed boundaries. He ignored me as usual. We walked through aisles of sunflowers, fruit stands, and laughter. No one cared who we were. No one stared. It was just 2 guys sharing coffee, brushing hands, getting lost in the crowd. And for the first time, I didn't feel like I was doing something wrong. We stopped by a small booth selling handmade journals. Liam picked one up, flipped through it, and said, "You should write." "About what?" "Us," he said simply. before people turn it into another rumor. I smiled. What if I'm not ready to put it on paper? Then start with this, he said, leaning closer, his voice low and sincere. Just live it. The next Monday, everything felt different. The office looked the same: emails, meetings, endless noise, but the weight on my chest was gone. People still whispered, sure, but whispers couldn't hurt me anymore, because I'd finally stopped hiding. At lunch, I found Liam sitting at our usual spot by the window. He looked up, grinning. Back to our daily scandal? I rolled my eyes. You mean lunch? Same thing. He pushed half his sandwich toward me, the same ritual as always. But this time, when our fingers brushed, I didn't pull away. For a moment, everything stilled: the clatter of keyboards, the hum of the air conditioner, the city outside. Just two people sharing something simple and human. And that was enough. Weeks turned into months. We grew quieter about the rumors because they faded on their own. New gossip replaced old ones, as it always does. But what remained was something real. Our stolen smiles, late-night drives, the comfort of being seen. There was one moment that stayed with me: a rainy Friday evening. We were the last two left in the office, typing away while thunder rolled outside. The lights flickered, and Liam looked up, his eyes soft in the dim glow. He said, "Remember when you couldn't even look at me without panicking?" "Don't remind me," I said. He smirked. "You've come a long way, Mr. Rules." "Yeah," I said quietly. "Thanks to you." He leaned in, pressing his forehead lightly against mine. "No, Evan. Thanks to you for finally letting me in." The storm outside roared, but in that tiny office world of ours, it felt calm, like every noise had been replaced by the sound of his heartbeat. Months later, during the company's winter party, Denise gave a speech about teamwork and resilience. Then, with a sly smile, she added, "And to those who prove that great partnerships don't end when you leave the office, cheers." Everyone laughed and clapped. Liam squeezed my hand under the table. I didn't pull away. When the music started, he stood, extended a hand, and said, "Dance with me." I hesitated. "Here? Now?" "Yeah, right here, where everyone can see." There it was again, the choice between fear and freedom. So I took his hand, and in the middle of that crowded hall, with colleagues laughing, lights glowing, and the world spinning around us, we danced. Slow, steady, unashamed. The whispers didn't matter anymore. The rumors had become something else entirely: a story of two people who stopped running from themselves. Later that night, as we walked home through the cold streets of Manhattan, he slipped his hand into mine. The city lights reflected in his eyes, bright, endless, alive. "Still worried what people think?" he asked. I smiled. "Not anymore." He leaned his head against my shoulder. "Good, because they were right all along." I looked at him, confused. "About what?" He grinned. "That we're actually dating." I laughed loud, free, and real. The kind of laugh that comes from somewhere deep, somewhere healed. The night wind carried it away, scattering it across the skyline, into the city that never stops talking. And for once, I didn't mind being part of the story. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.